And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. Wednesday night? What day
It
is
is,
it?
yeah, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, we're finally back to wrap up the round seven action.
Is
What
it?
are
Yeah,
rounds anymore? Do we even know what
yeah.
rounds are at the moment? I
The
think
last
we,
two games. We'll call everything the last two games.
I think it was something like 12 days without a game or something like that. Something crazy.
12 days. Yeah, Sydney hadn't played in how long?
Was it? Yeah, it
Longer than
was longer
that.
than that even. But
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed that in my fantasy team, the Taipans were there, and then I had some Taipans players, and then it just was like, bye. I was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me, dirty. But we're here to talk about two pretty painful L's against the Hawks, back in action, Hawks, and then against the Breakers, those damn Breakers. We're going to talk about those, but as always, yeah, we're live on Facebook right now. You can subscribe to us on Facebook and on YouTube. Put these up in replay and on our audio platform on Anchor. That goes out to Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. If you want to listen to audio form, give us a like and subscribe, and then a rating and review. That helps us get us out there to more Kings fans. And yeah, I think that's everything to plug, to be honest. Yeah, rough couple of games. This is going to be a tough one. I think they might no salt. I was contemplating a salt podcast, but I don't
It
think
wasn't
it's
really
salt.
salty. Yeah, it
I
wasn't
th-
bad reffing. It was just
I think
terrible
it's
playing.
just I don't know if this is a very good team, man. I really don't.
There's something in there that's good. It's poorly coached at this stage. We are missing a center that is for definite. Is that Jarell and Cooks aren't centers. And injuries seem to just really kill our seasons. They killed the
Injuries
Bolt.
again. So is there an issue, man? Is there an issue with our medical staff?
No, I don't think it's that. Or it's not. Maybe there's an issue with our imports. That they're imports for a reason. A lot of them are quite skilled enough to play in the NBA, but actually, Jarrell's not can't defend. But yeah, RJ Hunter was always an injury going to be. You look at his NBA career, and it's just marred by injuries. We all kind of knew that. It was definitely a gamble, but gamble didn't pay off. It was a bit harsh getting booed though. He got
Yeah, that
epically
was
booed,
rough.
bit
Rough,
rough.
man.
But yeah, that guy's knees and are not really. Those legs aren't really made for much, are they? They're
Yeah,
just
it was a non-contact injury, a pretty heavy injury for us to cop. I was just saying to you before we went live, like we've kind of got all these big wings that are basically power forwards and centers, and to have a shooting guard slash forward and wing player go down is a pretty big blow to kind of compound. Losing Jordan Hunter. Make has been out of the lineup a little bit. DJ's only just come back, so you can't expect him to play 30 minutes and be our main scorer. But yeah, a huge blow in that Hawks game. He'd had some injuries. What that was just straight up knee. It was like a patella tear or something, wasn't it?
yeah, patella tendon there. But he said knee tendonitis, so he could have had tendonitis. He just seems like he has terrible knees for basketball, unfortunately.
But we have said that about Glover though.
Well, Glover did have terrible knees for basketball, but he's been okay.
Mm.
Touch wood. He didn't play against Illawarra. Played against the
Yeah, I
Breakers.
think he had COVID. Wasn't it? It was a COVID related,
He
wasn't it?
was he was a close contact or something,
Mm.
or maybe he had COVID. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think he did. He looked all right physically, but I think it was just a close con. It was a contact thing. But yeah, it's a tough, man, tough to lose. The sting really hit that day, like that day of the game. I think since then I've kind of just gone, well, it's one of those things you can't really avoid. It's kind of like Geordie Hunter going down. Again, another power forward slash center. But at the same time, like you kind of want another body. He's done a little bit of a body of work last year, chubbing dudes off the boards and doing some stuff like that. So to lose a guy like Hunter, yeah, is a huge blow. I think it's going to put pressure on DJ to ramp up as well to get back into the lineup and really play, upwards of 30 minutes a game, score the ball.
We're down to development plays in regular rotations, and this just that has this familiar ring 6 games into the season or 8 games into the season as it did last year
Mm,
with 40, and it did the year before. Actually, no, the year before we were pretty lucky. I had some injuries early on and they came good, but last year we kind of peaked too late because of injuries in the early games and just taking loss after loss after loss with a couple of wins kind of s- spittled in between.
mm.
And this year it will feel like the same thing. I think Bawali Bales is out for an extended period of time. No one could foresee the Sean Bruce cliff.
You you are now development level.
His decision making, his fouling, his shooting, it's all just turned to Jared Weeks level.
Weeksy, far out. That's rough. It's it's hard too because he is or he was one glue guy of many
Yeah,
a couple of seasons ago, and it was a lot of like, oh, Jay Sean Tate, a real glue slash one of the best players in the league, really having an effect on both ends. We had all this glue around him, and now we're kind of just, it's down to Sean Bruce, and you kind of look at the rest of them. The makers are more kind of, I want to see them have an impact, but they're not really. You can't rely on them. Tommy V, his glue ability is kind of waning a little bit as well.
I think that also stems from the fact that there really is no facilitator in the backup unit. You
Mm.
look at Sean Bruce's production 2 years ago. He's not getting Tommy V's just a knockdown shooter that'll give you a bit of chub in the lane. I mean, and he's not really getting shots. He hasn't shot the ball well this year at all. So we'll play that. For my mind, the best pickup of the season, Swakala Bullock. He's
Yeah, he was so good in this game too.
so good, amazing in transition, can knock the three down. Is a really lengthy defender. If we could pick up another defender like that, or if Jalen Galloway can get his act together and stop trying to dribble the ball up and dunk, then and just play that 3 and D kind of style role that he played with the Emus, then we might have something. But it just seems like Buford can't get his players into the right spots.
Mm.
I don't know if that's him not seeing the game for what it is, but I can see clearly that a lot of these players are playing out of position, and FIBA is not a positionless game. Let's be real; it's not a positionless game.
Mm.
And the 5 out high screens not working when you've got 7 power forwards on the floor. You don't have that center. Yannick Wetzel just absolutely destroyed us in that Breakers game,
Mm.
setting screens, getting
Froling
guys.
absolutely torched us
Yeah,
in this game too.
yeah,
And last year we had said a few times in those games where it was like Geordie Hunter versus Froling, like there's a like unstoppable force, immovable object type thing going on there. Whereas in this game, there was just he just had his way with us. In to the fact that Duo Breath didn't even play that well. Duo Breath torched us in the first game, and then Reith didn't even play really in this game. Tyler Harvey putting up those chalky shots as well. Some more Tyler
yeah.
Harvey specials.
That's
But they seem to just come in these moments where you're just like, he's not going to walk up and hit this three. Is he? Yes, he is. Great.
and he was one of 9 before that three, and that three has changed the momentum of the game with 2 minutes to go, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was 6 of 7 in this game from
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
But there's some moments at the end of these games where he will just knock down outrageous shots. And I look at our lineup and I go, who's going to take a shot? Who's going to take just this huge cojones shot to drive a dagger into some of this team? Anyone? Vasiljevic? Yeah, okay, sure. I think maybe in 3 or 4 months when he's got his legs back under him, yeah, sure. But the rest of this team, it's mainly kind of falling on Cooks.
Yeah,
Xavier
it's
Cooks to be the like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the ball. I'm just going to grab this game by the scruff of the neck,
but
play out of my mind. He had that huge dunk in the end of that game,
the problem
absolutely
with
massive dunk through traffic. And then I don't know. I look at him and I go, I don't expect that. I don't look
well,
at Cooks like I looked at Tate 2 years ago and go, I expect you to do this. Like you kind of looking at Cooks going, I don't know if I expect you to be just the absolute like lifeblood of our offense at the end of a game to close it out.
yeah, he's not that player. He's a
Mm,
utility.
mm,
Cooks is like the ultimate glue guy that can play. He is positionless in many aspects, but I think it's he's played too positionlessly.
mm.
And I think when you have these quick fire rotations, you have guys coming in and out. A lot of them just lose where they are in the world. They lose where they are on the court. No one really knows who's playing the five. I can't tell who's playing the five, and I think that's a problem because for either the five is very important. This is not the NBA. This is not positionless basketball.
Mm. It's
I
not
don't
even
know.
G League too. I think you make a good point, and that's very G League. Just this like paste of five guys and whatever play wherever. Like that's very G
Yeah,
League from some of the G League that I've watched over the last few years.
yeah, and that's great because it kind of translates into NBA basketball where the rules are different.
Mm.
FIBA's a very different game. I think 40 definitely got it because he's grown up in that FIBA, and you can see he was trying. Didn't always have the best things to go with it. Joel Martin had a terrible weekend as well. That doesn't it,
He
it,
was
it
good
seems
in that Illawarra game, 9 of 19. I mean, you're just gonna get these games where he has 8 of 13, and he's like, wow, like really good inside, but then shoots 1 of 6 from three, and you're just like, can you stop doing that?
yeah, but that's it, man. It seems like you live or die by the three in this game, and that's not Jerome Martin. Jerome Martin, get him touches in the post. Doesn't seem like we're going back. It seems like he's stepping out to the three line again, which is woeful. I don't really see where the next bucket's coming from. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Jalen,
yeah, definitely. Especially in the half court, it's just
no,
it's
it's like
rough and it
it's
breaks
like
down,
watching
and then
Ben
you go,
Simmons.
who are we looking at here? Like, who? And then even you can see in the players, you can see anyone else want it? I don't want it. No, I don't want
Yeah,
it. I don't want it. Like, who are they looking at? And I think like you touched on a good point. Like Wani has come in and almost been like as good as Adams and possibly even better to the point where
mm,
I'm almost like, you know what? I want to see 33 minutes of Wani. Like I'm happy with him. I'm comfortable with him.
yeah,
And Jalen Adams can be a foil to that. But really, this whole offense is just such a like a mishmash of different players that I don't think you could put a lineup out there where you go, okay, Wani play point, and then Jalen Adams play on the two guard. Drive to the hoop. Like we just haven't seen that. It just becomes like this. If I'm not on the ball, I'm not really cutting. I'm not moving. I'm just kind of standing around, and okay, I'll take a shot, sure. And I think a lot of that is on Buford and his offense and the way he's implemented that, because we've said this before where Will Weaver came in and you could tell in those first couple of games that he didn't get it, but very quickly went, oh, right, I know what to change. Here you go, bang,
yeah,
done. And suddenly, we start to hit this stride, playing the game really well. Tate starts to find his money. Bogut starts to fit really well. I don't see where this team is going to like, that's going to click into place. We're ready to go. Okay, boys, we're going to reel off, 8 of 10 here to get our season back on track. I just don't see it, man.
no, neither do I. It's going to be a struggle to make the top four. I think Adams, I saw a lot on the forums of Adams being a bust. He's not a bust. He's just coming back from injury and hasn't played a lot of basketball.
It's too
Really,
early. Yeah.
this was still early. I mean, I've seen him peak G League, peak Atlanta. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. But again, he hadn't played in 18 months when he signed his contract because of the G League going down for COVID.
Mm.
So I don't exactly know what we expect. I always expected him to come in and, and do some stuff. He's obviously got injured, and that's probably put him back 4 to 6 weeks. But I expect in 6 weeks, if he's fit and healthy, to be taking this team down the end of the line. It'll take some practice. Um, it doesn't. It seems like we're missing a proper two guard, and I think DJ will fill that void when he can hit 30 minutes. And we are missing a center for the second year running. Is that we just don't have a defined five.
Mm.
Um, and Geordie playing primary, Jarrell's not a five. I think we need to just stop that. This is not positionless basketball. We are getting rinsed on the O glass when proper fives are on the board. Um, and we don't really have a defined backup unit. It just kind of all molds into this one switch in, switch out mess, uh, positionless basketball, and I don't like it. I
Mm.
mean, you look at the really good teams. You look at Illawarra. Illawarra is so defined. They such defined in their
Mm.
roles. It's watching Brian Gorge and Coach Faber is like watching, listening to Mozart.
Mm.
It's just he gets it. He gets where they need to be, how to change the shot trajectory, and how to get things done. Dan Vickerman's the same. It's not positionless basketball, and I'm going to rant on here a bit about positionless basketball because it seems like we've had a coach that's just come in and, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this here, and It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
It doesn't work like that. You can, even some of the plays they get into where they have to um, commit fouls on the break and unsportsmanlike because the play is broken down so badly. That's the only way to stop anything. And yeah, the breakers, for my mind, was the epitome of how he needs to have a lesson on FIBA.
Yeah,
He
it's
needs he needs to have, like, a mentor. They need to get someone in to coach him on how to coach.
it's that's a good point. I think that Breakers game kind of it shows you and exposes how you don't have like a rhythm to your system.
Mm,
Like you can't just go out there and just go, okay, we know how we're playing in the offense. This is what we're doing. We know we can get these buckets. We've got some sets we can run. We've got this and that we can run. We can actually keep the pace, keep the momentum up because we play with I think the best pace, the fastest pace in the league. I'm pretty
yeah, but we
sure.
also have the worst offensive rating in the league, so it means fucking nothing.
And then that's where you get this crossover. How most teams kind of have a base rhythm to their play. They have a rhythm. They keep playing like the Perths, Melbournes, and Illawarra, and we're definitely not on that level. I see this team and I just go, we're just not on that level because the way we actually run our offense just becomes very disjointed and hammy a little bit too much. And as players, it's system. I think the real scary thing to me is that I don't see a way out of this, and I don't see like, oh, if you change these things, yeah, okay, we're gonna be good. Because there's so much like Cooks kind of needs to play five, small ball five. And then it's like, but Cooks is also needed to play small forward. We kind of also need him to be a small ball three as well. And, to be in our tall lineup and play three at the same time. And then you say, like, oh, DJ's going to take the scoring load. RJ's gone down. But then you look at DJ and you're kind of like, bit suspect defensively, kind of small, a small guy shooting guard. And then you look at the way you plug a small guy shooting guard in, and you're like, the whole thing doesn't work. Like,
No.
if you're plugging a small shooting guard into this, like, you got to change all of this, and everything just starts to break down from there. I think we we're kind of missing McCurr Maker coming into that center spot and going, you know what, I'm grabbing that center spot and I'm taking a one approach and just forcing my way into this center spot and
Yeah.
earning 30 minutes. But really, he got injured. It was a bit of a shame that he got injured. And then you kind of have that fallback of Jarrell Martin getting back into, oh, I'm playing center and power forward and being the scoring threat and playing inside and, dropping on D, having to play, on defense in the center position and just getting rinsed. And I think I just don't see really a way out of this. That Illawarra team, we go on these runs too, where that Illawarra game was a game of runs. We started the game really well. You look at this team, and you go, this is good, super pace, super rhythm, like scoring. We can score the ball. It's not really rhythm. It's like scoring the ball, and then Illawarra punches back, and then we're like, oh, like right on the back foot. And then we come back from that, and we even look to take the lead. And then you're thinking, ooh, if this team can kind of just keep that rhythm up, then we're going to score Illawarra out of this game. But then, Illawarra just goes, well, we've got our fundamentals and we'll stick to them. And suddenly, we're left scoring 11 points in the fourth
And that's
quarter
and
and
that's
losing
that's
a
always the
game.
way, right? That's always the way, right?
Mm,
Is that as soon as we bring on the second unit, it breaks down. It breaks down because Sean Bruce makes a silly decision to pass the ball. They play bad pick and roll. I know when they're going to run a pick and roll before they do.
mm,
You can and so does the team. They get the legs in the lane. It's bad, and it's not pick and roll. It's not good pick and roll because no one could shoot in the mid range, and that's where they get to. They're playing this high arc pick and roll that gets to the mid range, and then they do these floaters, which it's not really money. You got to get close to the basket. It
mm,
seems like they need to set two pin down screens into a pick and roll. It's really it's pick and roll in the G League because there's no one standing in the lane. There's no one camping. It's a
mm,
5 out system. You're playing man on man, and it just like he hasn't got that yet. That's the one thing I can see he hasn't got is that if you're playing pick and roll, you're playing 1-4-1-5 or 1-4 pick and roll. Is that he's not? They're not bringing the man out of the lane. They're just picking against guards,
mm,
and they're going straight into someone standing right in the
mm,
semicircle. And so you're not actually getting an easy hoop. You're just getting a contested shot. and it's a low value prospect, and he hasn't worked that out yet. The
Eh,
the one thing he hasn't worked out is that when you put Matermaker on, he needs to be a defined five. He doesn't need to slink out to the corner to shoot and then sprint back and not be in position. He doesn't need to get into the middle and try and dribble, hand off, and then get smacked. That's not his role. His role is to set the pick at the top, to pop and run the lane, or to come out at the top, because you want to run the shortest distance between defending in the O and hitting the top of the key. And he seems to get to the corners, which is the wrong thing to do because he's not a defined five. We're playing positionless basketball here. It's all wrong.
it's all wrong. Have you noticed bigs aren't shooting the ball that much this year? Is that a vibe to you?
Well, like yeah. I mean, yeah, Zhao Qi, Yannick Wetzel, they're not big shooters. Dane Pinot's not a big shooter.
Even
Ogilvy's
like nah, even Sam
Frolling's
Frolling's
set.
shooting it quite well. I'm just going
Yeah,
trying to find the bigs and their shooting splits, but I feel like bigs have kind of gone back to being bigs a little bit more in this league. Like it's kind of gone guard heavy, wing heavy, and bigs aren't having that kind of impact where they're shooting the three ball a lot. And that's huge, right, for us because we don't have a big that's a dedicated guy that just scores inside unless it's Jarrell, and then there's other wrinkles involved in that. Like we don't have a defending the paint big that you can go to down low. And I think that's ultimately that's the long and the short of it really is you can have Jarrell on the floor as an offensive threat, but he's not a five who can defend the rim.
no,
Um,
he's probably Jarrell's a better perimeter defender. I can say that he doesn't tend to get beaten too much by bigs off the dribble. And you're probably right, is that these guys are playing more at the rim, and so we're getting rinsed more at the rim because we really don't have anything in there in terms of a threat. Look, I would honestly sign Thon Maker as a. We need a center. We need a defined center that can play big
just
and
protect the rim and
just
anchor the
yeah.
defense. Play
That's
35
that's
minutes,
that's
anchor the defense. He's almost a similar, player to kind of Joe Lawal-Achul, but
yeah.
doesn't have to, have the ball in his hands to affect the game type of thing. And I've got the stats here. So Joe Lawal-Achul has shot the best 3 point percentage, 55%, but it's 5 of 9 from three. And then if you look at the actual volume centers who are shooting it, it's Joe Breath, 10 of 26, and then Jarrell, 12 of 41. The rest are all under five shots.
Yeah.
It's Jiachi, Tyrell Harrison, Majok, Wetzel, Zimmerman. None of them are 3 point shooters, and we
No.
just kind of are still sticking to that five out guy who shoots the three, and then there's no anchor down low. And I think it was really evident. It's really evident against those Illawarra, Melbourne, those types of teams where you're just like, that's kind of the missing link in this, really, isn't it? The missing
Mm.
piece of this puzzle. To go through some of the stats, Cook's had such a good game, and every time he has a good game, it's almost as though like, you know what, I don't care that we kind of lost. I just love the fact that he's playing really well at the moment, and he's working himself into some sort of possible return to the NBA. But at the same time, like when he's on, it's not part of the offense. It's like he's grabbing boards, 14
Yeah.
rebounds. He's
His
shooting the ball in
ultimate
the mid range.
utility.
He's attacking dudes. How many times has he just gone straight into the teeth of the D and just gone, you know what? Eat my shoulder. I'm gonna lay it in.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that works. That works sometimes, sure. But can we get some easier buckets? Like, do we
Yeah.
need to just like bump a dude front on and then lay the ball in? Like, we don't have to do that every time. But still, it's great to watch. Jarrell had 23 points in this game. Jalen Adams 14, and then Wani 17 points. I'm almost like, yeah, 33 minutes a game, sure. Just
Yeah.
keep playing him.
I'm
And
I'm all for 33 minutes of whining.
that's kind
100%.
of like lottery thinking, though, like draft lottery thinking, where you're just like, just play our just play our young and up and coming players. Like it just feels so out of place to have some of these young guys, and you just like play them. I want to see them play. It kind of screams that this team's a little bit dysfunctional, a bit all over the place. This Breakers game, yikes! That second quarter, 13-10 to the Breakers. Wow, just a rough game.
It was boring to watch.
Yeah.
It was boring to
aren't
watch.
you, aren't you glad you didn't go to
I
watch
like
this one?
this. the Illawarra game was fun to watch. It was a good game, even though we lost. But the the Breakers game was like watching paint dry. It was horrible. It was stupid decisions. It was dumb decision making all around. It was horrible.
15 turnovers in that game. Just crazy stuff. And I think it was a 12-1 run for them to close it out.
Yeah.
Just embarrassing in about two minutes. One, he kind of returned to earth, only 4 points. DJ shot the ball quite well, 3 of 7 from 3. Cooks, another great night, 8 of 11 rather, 19 points. And again, like it speaks to Cooks playing against these teams where it's perfect for him to play well in a game like this because he can kind of dominate, bump people, get inside. Hey, is that Callie?
That's Toby.
That's Tobes. I was going to say Tobes. It's beholden on Cooks to go into the teeth of the D and just keep trying to score. And it's a night where Jarrell Martin struggles, where you think, man, like against Wetzel, are you really going to struggle against Wetzel? Oh, he's gone. He's going to sort it out. He's going to go sort it out. Are you know, and it's just rough to watch how we can't put just a comprehensive performance together, like a comprehensive. I was just saying, like it's rough that we can't put like a comprehensive victory together because that game we're up 12, we're ready to close it out in the fourth quarter. That had almost, all we need to do is comprehensively close this game out, and we've got a platform to start building on. And then it's a 12-run run at the end of the game. You're just left going like, well, what even is this? Like, what even is what this team is trying to do? Because that was so out of the ordinary that you suddenly now the team's got to like really reflect on who they are as a team, and it's gonna just continue to kind of drag us down. I think anyway, a loss like that.
Yeah. It was a bad performance.
It was bad, man. Just looking through, Delaney had 21. Martin, he couldn't miss, man. Jeremiah Martin.
Yeah.
Even though he had 10 of 22. And it was like in the second half, every time he had the ball, he just scored it. And Siva started scoring in the second half and really started to go off. It's that little just gap in between the paint and our guards. Teams seem to know how to get into it. And then you look at our offense and you go, hey, just get into that little space there. And that's a nice elbow jumper for you. Nah, I'm not doing that. Just stand out here on the perimeter. Or I'll just go straight in, drop my shoulder, and try and just finish over two of the best bigs in the league. Yep, sure.
Yeah.
So rough, yeah, super rough.
Should we do 3-2-1 for the games?
3-2-1 for both games, yeah. Sorry, I'll just get my spreadsheet up here. The fan MVPs have died too because I'm just struggling to even get back to the computer anywhere near a game day, which sucks. Last game was against United, so this one was the Hawks, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, and then the Breakers was the other one. Breaky Dakers. Why are you doing that to me? So Hawks game.
I'm gonna go Cooks, Martin, Swarky.
There's so many names, so many good names for him. WSLB, Wani, Swarky. I went Wani for 3, and then I went Cooks and Martin. For the Breakers game,
I'm gonna go Cooks for 3.
Cooks definitely. For me. I want to say Jalen Adams played well, but just defensively is rough. DJ?
Yeah, DJ for 2.
That's his first points of the season.
Yeah, I don't know who I give for 1. I'll give it to Martin just because it's Martin.
He had a rough game, man. Who gets 1? Who's the one who usually always just should get 1 all the time? Tommy V?
Tommy V, but Tommy V's been hasn't lived up to the standards of Tommy V of late, so I can't give it to him.
I'm just gonna go 1 for Jalen Adams.
So we've got the Bullets away twice. No, home and away this weekend.
Yeah, and they're just a weird team too. I think who do they beat this week? Beat someone.
No.
No. I just all the games are just blending in. Phoenix, they beat the Phoenix.
Beat the
The
yeah, the Phoenix are.
Phoenix. What is just they look great, and then suddenly we're like, we'll just dispatch of you handily, and then they get handled by Brisbane as well. You're just like, what is that team? What is going on with that team?
Mm.
All right, tipping first game Bullets at home to the Kings.
Bullets.
Bullets, Bullocks. I'm going Kings. 36ers are then at home to Perth.
Melbourne or Perth?
36ers are at home to Melbourne. Apologies.
Yes, about to
It's
say.
getting
I'm going to
late.
go 36ers. I think Cam Bairstow's been in career form.
Yeah, he smashed it against Perth. United are 5 from 5, I think. What about Delhi just dropping 30 out of nowhere?
Oh man, I watched that game. Some of those shots were ridiculously good.
Couldn't hit a
He did
3 to
this one
save his
little.
life, and then he just hit 7 of 11 or whatever.
He did this one like little freaking 360 shimmy straight into the three and dropped, and it was just like, wow. He still looks
Just,
like he's vomiting them though.
yeah, he's struggling a bit. Hawks at home to Perth.
I'm gonna go Hawks. I think
It's
at
kind of
home.
like a double disappointment game where I don't know if the Hawks have got it, but I don't know if Perth have got it.
Mm.
I'm going Hawks. Then Kings at home to the Bullets.
I'll go Kings on Sunday at home.
Kings to bounce back at home. That's the kind of game where I'm like, we'll probably lose that game at home. Taipans. Finally, we're seeing the Taipans again at home to the Breakers.
Yeah, let's go Types.
Types. I'm going Rusty Types are going to lose against the Breakers. So Breakers is my pick. The Breakers are on the up, man. I went a week early on the Breakers, man. Gutted. Jack Jumpers are then playing Melbourne Phoenix.
I'll go Phoenix.
Phoenix. Wizard Tugs. I want to see a wizard. Illawarra Hawks at 36ers.
Big round. I'm gonna go Hawks.
This is a massive round, man. You know some of these games are getting bounced as well, for sure.
Yeah.
Hawks. Ooh, this could be a sneaky 36ers game for me. Let's do it. 36ers. Phoenix then at home to the Taipans. So much traveling around too.
Yeah. Where is it? It's in Gippsland.
Regional
I'm
Indoor
I'm gonna
Sports
go
Stadium.
I'm gonna go Phoenix.
Phoenix. I'll go Phoenix as well.
And then I'll go Melbourne. Melbourne
Bullets
to finish it out.
versus Melbourne. Melbourne to finish it out for me too. Mammoth round. Time to get back on the bike and get some wins under the belt. So many upsets in that last round. Crazy stuff. And I think that's it. Do we want to talk? That Brisbane team that's a rough team, man.
It's a rough team, but they can put some stuff together. I think Sobey's probably top 3 guard in this league, and continues to show it. I definitely
He's also
I'm a
kind
little.
of this year. He's kind of been a little bit like, you know what? I'm out. If I don't want to, I'm not feeling it. I'm out. But
Yeah.
in this Phoenix game, I did watch some of that. I watched about 10 minutes of it. Franks, that was like an all round. Franks, Drimmich, Patterson, Sobey, Harrison. It just feels like they've got a lot of wing scoring threat on kind of guys who can get into the seams.
Yeah. I'm still not sold on them, but I do think they probably could put a win together over this week against Sydney at home. So
Phoenix 31-6 first quarter in that game. Phoenix hopeless. Yep, I think that's about it. I think disappointing. I think it says a lot about our tone. It is 9 or 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, busy Wednesday. But I think that kind of encapsulates just how I feel about this team. I said it at the start of the season. It was just not sure about this team, man. It's finally come true after 3 seasons of just like not sure about this team, man. It's a bit rough, and then finally it's kind of coming true. I think this is really a season where it might just be looking for positives.
indeed, it'll be a season of rebuilding and growth, like it has been for the last 4 years.
Yeah. We take the plants out, we get some new pots, we pot them in there. And then the next season we take the plants out, we get some new pots, and when we pot those plants in there, it just the continuity has just been rough. I think injuries and coach upheaval. It's really just a shame, man. That Weaver couldn't stay for 5 years and implant some sort of DNA in this team, because I think that's kind of what this team's crying out for. The
Mm.
infrastructure of this club's kind of crying out for that sort of thing. But it is what it is. As always, right now we're live on Facebook, so give us a like and give the page a like too. Give this video a like to get us out there to more Kings fans. If you want to watch these on YouTube, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and watch them. And you can also listen in audio form if you prefer to do that. We're on the Anchor platform, which goes out to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So find your favorite listening app and give us a like and a subscribe and a rating and review if you feel like you want to get us out there to more Kings fans. And as always, we will see you guys next time
On the King's Dime.